Time is X minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
It's the Rocket Hour. Y'all are now tuned in. Time to hit the pick four that you'd love to win. If your money's coming slow, step on the faster track with your host, Ricky Pasternak. Let's go.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Rocket Hour. My co-host, I think he's in London, England, Top Hat Halty, along with us today. Aaron, we are day 2 of this fantastic racing festival, at Royal Ascot. How's it been going for you? I know you just hit a big dollar trifecta. I believe it paid over $440 to kick us off.
Yeah, man, I'm really excited. $440.80 for the try in race 3. And it's so hard to watch those races and know where your horses are. So we're approaching the wire and my top 2 horses are right there. And then here comes a horse like rallying up the rail, have no idea who he is. And somebody goes, the announcer goes, it's Frankie Dettori. And I'm like, thank you. I never leave Frankie off any bets at Royal Ascot. So he comes out at 22-1. And then the 2 best horses on paper finished second and third for a 440 try. I mean, that was an exciting way to kind of kick off our show because it happened just 4 or 5 minutes ago.
Yeah, we have a lot to get into. We actually have a Group 1 race. If you don't know what Group 1 is, that's essentially Grade 1. That's kind of the way they operate. Then they have handicaps, and the language is a little different. The post positions, the past performances are all over the place. The post positions are all over the place. They don't just line up in order. All the saddle cloth colors are the same. It's like Keeneland sometimes. We really have no idea sometimes what's going to happen, but we are going to, I don't want to say I'm going to call the race. I'm going to try my best because it's a little difficult, but we do have a race in about 17 minutes. So right around 11:20 that we're going to cover in a little bit. Aaron and I have some other news and notes for you. We're going to do a little bit of a rankings preview or what Aaron put up. We're going to do a little bit of some summer racing, a little mishmash of everything today. Obviously, we'll be covering that race. If you guys have any topics that you guys want to cover, we will be more than happy to do that. We'll be on till around 11:45, 11:50 with just one thing on the agenda, and that's to cover the Group 1 race. So Aaron will kind of keep us up to date in terms of the time. Hopefully around 11:15, we'll kind of switch over and talk about the race. But I'm going to first start the show by putting up Aaron's newest top 10 rankings, and we'll kind of go back and forth. So stay with us. I'm going to pose some questions to him. He's going to pose some questions to me, and then we'll and we'll kind of go back and forth. These are the newest rankings on racingdudes.com according to Aaron Halterman himself. I consider these to be the best rankings. So guys, let us know what you guys think. Aaron, it's kind of ironic that we have domestic spending, my favorite horse of the country, and a turf horse as we talk about Ascot today. I thought that was a little bit of a coincidence. I'll throw it to you first as we have these rankings up. What makes him the best, and do you envision him staying undefeated until the Breeders' Cup? So I guess a two-part question.
That's the big thing that everybody's going to want to talk about when it comes to domestic spending. What makes him the best is he just has the most talent out of any horse in the country right now. Can he stay undefeated? I mean, you're going to go to Arlington next. You would think he's going to win that one. Then you'll have one more prep for the Breeders' Cup. So the Breeders' Cup will be the key. And it's kind of a really good segue into the Prince of Wales, which is the one Ascot race we're going to break for and cover once it's here, because some of his best competition from overseas is going to be in the Prince of Wales coming up. And will they come to the Breeders' Cup, and who shows up may determine, if this horse loses this year or not, domestic spending. So it's really going to be fun to kind of watch some of these horses. Like Dick Feldman said, he's going to bet Adaria. Well, Adaria won the Breeders' Cup filly and mare turf last year, the Breeders' Cup So, now taking on the boys in the Prince of Wales. So it's really an exciting race to kind of analyze. Probably the race of the meet at Ascot is going to be coming up here in 16 minutes. So that's exciting. But yeah, I mean, I think domestic spending does stay undefeated up until that Breeders' Cup. And then ask me the week of the Breeders' Cup when we see the draws to see who comes. But we can definitely analyze this race coming up and kind of say, hey, maybe domestic spending is just as good as these horses, or we might see it and say, well, he's not at that level. So we're going to learn a lot about that question in 15 minutes.
Yeah, it's a good point, right? Because, I'm going through Blood Horse. If you guys aren't familiar with Blood Horse, it's a fantastic website. And basically, you can kind of break it down as much as you want. Aaron kind of told us where he's going, and that's to Arlington after. But he has a lot of choices after that. It's going to be interesting to see. I think on its front, he really should be undefeated going into the Breeders' Cup. I'm not entirely sure who has the best chance to beat him. To be entirely honest with you guys, I do potentially see it as, it's weird. Why would you even test him, right? It's kind of like Colonel Liam. We saw Gaffoe. We kind of saw who might be the second best turfer. Smooth Like Straight, who we've seen time and time again. Good enough on the West Coast, probably not good enough on the East Coast. Hit the Road. Some of these other turfers that probably just, Aaron, don't really want to try them. and I know that's not really the way that we should be looking at these types of things. But there's really no point. I think the only one who could beat him is probably a European runner. And that's why I kind of agree with you with the number one overall ranking. If there's no horse in this country, in my opinion, that could beat him, and I'm sure similar to you in your opinion as well, since no one in your top 10 is a turf runner to begin with, then he has to be number one until someone beats him. I've been on the record saying the only horses that can beat him, it's like a 5-6 horse field, and you see like 25-4. I think that's the best way you could do it. The bigger the field, the more pace pressure there could be potentially for some of the other horses, aka Colonel Liam. In the Manhattan, Colonel Liam was pressed and 3 wide. So I'm completely with you there. I want to ask you another question now about Mystic Guide. Mystic Guide, I don't know what. Nick, we're going to get to a couple of these. I guess we can get to Nick's questions now or comments, just because before we go on to the Mystic Guide thing. He says he feels like domestic spending will have a huge advantage at Del Mar versus the Euros. The ground's going to be so firm compared to what the European horses run on. The only question is the 1 1/2 mile. I think that's a question mark for Aaron. Then I'll let Aaron go. I think that's a question mark for everyone. When you're traveling that ground of distance, I actually prefer horses on the front end, and here's why. Granted, if it's too fast, that's the caveat. I'm going to move this just so you guys can see me. The reason is for a horse like domestic spending, yes, he has a big gallop of foot. Yes, he can go the distance, but it is always like that question mark, right, Aaron? It's kind of like, all right, is he going to have it today? At least on the front end, you kind of know. And it slowly but gradually wears on horses. Like these crazy long races, Oaklawn has, what's the race at the end of the meet? The 2 mile race.
The Trails End.
Trails End. It's just like those races are won on the front end. Lone Rock, I think he won 1.5 miles on Belmont Day. I forgot what race that was. That was like the only grade 2, I think, of the day. He won 1.5 miles on the front end. It's extremely, I'll always lean towards the front end horses. So in that situation, I do like Colonel Liam. Aaron, I'll throw it to you. Outside of domestic spending, I pretty much want every horse on the front end in that situation.
Yeah, listen, I think the big point there, the Del Mar ground being rock hard, I think that is going to be a huge factor, more of a factor than the 1.5 miles. European horses like good to soft going. That's where they really excel. And look at yesterday, Palace Pier won the race. He's the number 1 ranked horse in the world, and he did win. And he won by a couple of lengths. It wasn't like it was close. But his first 2 races were on yielding and or it was either soft or good or yielding and good. I can't quite remember, but they weren't firm turf courses. Yesterday at Ascot was a firm course. he didn't have that same kick that he had shown in those first 2 races. So I think you're right. I think, for domestic spending, having the Breeders' Cup at Del Mar, or if it was at Santa Anita, I think it's a huge advantage over, say, Churchill Downs or Keeneland. So I think that is going to play into the results of those races. So that's definitely something to keep an eye on, not only for domestic spending, for all those races on the turf there at Del Mar. You would assume there's a 95% chance there's not going to be a lot of rain. The other comment to Colonel Liam, I don't think so. I don't think Colonel Liam has any chance to beat domestic spending. I just don't see that situation. I think if Colonel Liam was going to beat him, it would have been that first race there at Churchill Downs, 2 races back for both those horses. I just don't see a scenario now where it's going to happen.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you. I'm not sure if that's the only horse that off the top of our head. I mean, I know you're a bigger Gufo fan, or Gufo, I don't know. Bigger than I am, just because of where he sits. Again, I'm going to prefer the horse on the front end. If I were to rank the turf horses, just 1 through 5, maybe I'm missing someone, but the horses I've seen recently, I think it's domestic spending, who's in a tier or a class of his own. Then it's probably Colonel Liam and Gufo. And then maybe like Hit the Road and Smooth Like Straight. I'm sure I'm missing some, but I'm just thinking of like horses off the top of my head. What about Tribuvan? I put that horse third on the day, and I really did like him just because I like the front end horses. But like before we I think if Colonel Liam gets the same kind of trip, I think he could run the same thing. Like I think Tribuvan might have been like, what does Mike Somich say? Like the bride and the groom, or whatever the heck he says. Like that was a good price on that day. I don't know. He says something like along those lines, like you're going to get bad odds now. Because of that effort, people are going to say, well, all right, he's 4-1 when he is. I don't think he is. Now, if domestic spending's on the race, we have a different conversation. I like the horse. I still prefer to Colonel Liam on the front end for me.
I think with Tribuvan, I like that horse, but same trainer, and I think Tribuvan's always just kind of going to be, if he's in a race with domestic spending, his job is to set it up for domestic spending. What happened on Belmont Day, that was his job. He did his job, but there was no other speed in that race. So he was able to just get in front and hold off all those other horses. I still think his number one priority, if he's running with domestic spending, will just be to make sure there's a quick pace. And I think if he gets into a situation where there's other speed horses in the race, it's going to be a lot different for him. But that is a race-by-race handicapping situation. If he shows up in a race where there's not a lot of speed and he's going to go to the front, he could be the one that's hard to catch. There's no doubt. So it'll just be the setup is going to make that horse's trip one way or the other, or make that horse's finish position, I should say.
Yeah, no, I'm completely with you. When is the Arlington Million off the top of your head? Do you know what day that is?
Yeah, it's August. It's either August 14th or August 21st. I believe it's the 14th.
Yeah, so that pretty much eliminates domestic spending from Saratoga, essentially, because that's going to be right in the middle of the meet, or I guess not right in the middle, towards the back half of it. And it doesn't seem like there are any other plans to get him going. I don't even know if there is a race. I'm looking now before we get to the Ascot race. I'm not even sure if there's a race for him, to be honest, other than a steeplechase race, which obviously he won't be participating in. I'm not really sure there's even a race for him to run. It would have to be like the first weekend or the second weekend. But who knows what that's going to be. We'll get back to some of these rankings and some of these questions. If you guys are interested, come up with your questions, because we're going to get to ask it right now. I'm going to remove this and just keep the camera on Aaron and I. Basically, what we're going to do here is we have, I think, 7 minutes to post. This is their Group 1, their race of the day. This is the Prince of Wales Stakes, going 1 1/4 miles. It's 10 furlongs. Obviously, there is a big scratch out of here with Lord North. Currently, we have Love, simple name, for Aidan O'Brien, Ryan Moore at 1-2, 15-8 morning line. Their morning lines are a little different. Their odds are a little different. Aaron, based on the odds here, is he a horse to beat, or would you try to play against him?
Well, it's interesting. We've got two fillies in the race, Love and Adaria, and Love at 1-2, first out of the year. This is a really tough ask, 1.25 miles. But they're betting this horse like she can't lose here. Aidan O'Brien, Ryan Moore, if you're not familiar with international racing, that's what you want. That's what you want to look for. It doesn't get much better than that as far as connections go. So I think this horse was going to get beat by Lord North. I was really excited about the 3-horse Lord North, but since he has scratched, I did go to Love. I do think at 1-2, really tough to bet that race. I like the number 1 Armory at 7-2, another Aidan O'Brien horse. Second jockey for him. Heftinan is the second jockey that he uses, but don't downgrade that horse a lot because of the jockey, because he uses him a lot. So I really don't think that's going to be a problem. And then we talked about a little bit to open the show. Number 6, Adaria. This was your Breeders' Cup Filly and Mare Turf winner, beat Rushing Fall there at Keeneland back in November. Horse is 5-1 right now. If you like her, I do think it's the value's there. The only problem is it's the same as Love with her, right? It's a big layoff. We have not seen the horse since the Breeders' Cup, and now your first asking is going to be at Royal Ascot, going 1.25 miles in a really, really good race. So we'll see what happens here. But if you like her, I think you're getting the right price at 5-1.
If anyone's interested in some time form numbers, Adaria does have a 127 on her resume. That was the Breeders' Cup race. Armory, a 124. That was a few starts back in Ireland in their Irish Championship. Love has a 123. Obviously, Lord North probably would have been your favorite at this point. Lord North is out. So we do have a couple fillies. Both make sense. For me, I'm going to try to play against. I'm going to try to use Adaria. I just think, Aaron, when you talk about horses of this caliber, you'd have to be like a step above, right? Like to bet a horse like that at 1-2. For the record, I'm not betting this on my own. I don't have enough information. I'm going to watch as a fan casually. I'm going to attempt to call the race. If you guys have watched live streams, like with all of us, I really take it seriously, but it's really hard to do it in this situation because I can't see saddlecloth and I'm not entirely prepared. Nick says, Adaria lost to Tarnawa by 1 length. Lord North lost by 3. Just playing a hunch. Adaria is 3-1 in Group 1. Yeah, I think you can make a case for a lot of them. Again, if you're going to get 9-2 versus 1-2, both have the layoff concern that Aaron pointed out. Adaria, again, lost to Tarnawa back in Longchamp last year. Longchamp, little French in there. And then I think Deville. I don't know, so I'm saying that right. But they have soft and yielding. Again, the turf courses are a little different, so clearly can go the distance. All these horses can go the distance. Aaron, I do want to point out something real quick. A lot of people don't, maybe, I don't know, I don't want to accuse people that are listening of this, but people in general don't really understand why the pedigree means so much in turf racing, especially distance. This is exactly why. This meet, I guess, I don't even want to call it meet. This 5-day festival, I'll call it, really exemplifies why you want so much European pedigree, because they do have dirt racing. It's just not to the degree of the turf racing. Here in the United States, it's the other way around. Everyone really wants dirt horses. When you think of owning and training and things like that, you really want a Triple Crown horse. That's not the way the thinking is there. That's why a lot of times first-time starters, Aaron, we try to focus on that European pedigree, especially when they're going 2 turns.
Yep, that's absolutely right. And, we had a 2-year-old filly that ran, it was trained by Wesley Ward earlier, but it had European form. So even in those shorter races, that European form matters when you get over to Royal Ascot for sure. And I mean, this is kind of going back to why this race is important, even if you're not going to bet it. And again, if you like Armory, if you like Adaria, I think it is worth a bet. If you like Love and you just don't want to bet against her, I get it. I would just kind of stay away. But even if you're not betting this race, it's important to analyze what happens here because this is going to have major implications, possibly on the Breeders' Cup. So, will a horse like Love come over? I'm not sure, but a horse like Armory, like usually Aidan O'Brien sends out the second team to the Breeders' Cup. Yeah, I could definitely see Armory being there. This is, like I said, for my money, the first race yesterday, this race today, and then Stradivarius and the Gold Cup tomorrow. That's the 3 big races. So we kind of luckily this fell within the Rocket Hour, and the Gold Cup will fall within the Rocket Hour tomorrow. So we kind of lucked out in that regard.
Well, it's kind of ironic you talked about it. That's why I planned the show for 11 a.m. many, many months ago, over like December and January when we first started. It's because I knew 6 months from then that I'd really want to cover this race. No, I'm kidding. We just got lucky. That is a worthy note. I guess we are covering this race tomorrow. So if we're in the middle of a Belmont take, you might just have to pause for 30 seconds to a minute or whatever it is and watch that race. They are kind of not loading in the gate, but more so kind of just behind there, getting a little walk around. Again, I will try my best to call it. We cannot show the race for you. We don't prefer any lawsuits here at Racing Dudes. Maybe Aaron and Jared, but I sure as heck don't. They are loading in the gate now. 2 to 5 for Love. Pretty short price. So I'll go through the horses. The 1 is Armory at 7 to 2. The 2 is Desert Encounter, Irish bred 24 to 1. My Oberon, Irish bred at 14 to 1. Sangarius, 15 to 1 is the 5. The 6 Adaria, 9 to 2, and the 7 Love at 2 to 5. Irish bred Aidan O'Brien with 2. Another note: if you are interested in turf riding, this is a good little spot as well. If you guys want to watch Frankie Dettori, who's not in this race, but William Buick, Ryan Moore, all these riders, male, female, older, younger, really, 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 really talented, and they are off. I'm going to do my best to call it in the middle here. Now, looks like it's Love, who broke extremely sharply. Then my Oberon tracking in second. I'm trying to catch them all here. It's very, very blurry, to say the least. It looks like it's Adaria tracking in third or fourth down on the rail, but it's Love out to a nice gallop here. Then we have on the outside is Sangarius, who's going to track. Then we do have Adaria, Desert Encounter, and Armory rounding out the field as they make their way around the far turn, going the opposite way. It is Love, tracked right there about a length off is Adaria, and then we have my Oberon and Sangarius. That makes the top 4. No change of order as Armory and Desert Encounter round out the top 6. They're making their way around, I guess, their backstretch here. If you're looking a little backwards here, Love still in hand, asked to go a little bit more, but still having no issue at all. The Aidan O'Brien duo looks pretty strong right now. Armory ended up going off at 2 to 1, by the way. Pretty big hit in the odds. Adaria 7 to 1. Love still on the front end. That looks like Sangarius going to make a move. Adaria starting to make a move.
Daria's unwinding
as well. Yeah, Daria is going to be on the closest side here as they make their way to the top of the stretch. And here comes Adaria. Love looks like she might be in trouble, but she's going to hold off Adaria. Here comes Adaria still on the outside, trying to make a final push. Love still on the front end. It looks like these top 2, Love battling gamely. Here comes Adaria. Love still trying to take this gate to Love is going to hold off Adaria. Philly duo there, and Love able to hold on. It looks like Adaria was able to get second. Not entirely sure who was able to get third.
I think it was Armory. It
is Armory. Armory was able to get third. My Oberon rounded out there in fourth. A fantastic job by Love. I actually thought she was going to be done, Aaron. Aidan O'Brien, Ryan Moore connect there. You did get a nice price on Adaria at 7 to 1. Armory comes in third. Initial reaction there, a little chalky.
Yeah, it was, but I mean, I think that's what you kind of expected it would be. This was a really good effort from Love. I thought Love was beat a few different times and just kept on going. So I'm impressed. I was very impressed by Love. I thought that was a really good performance. Gosh, Adaria, man, Nick, I'm sorry. I thought Adaria had her a couple of different times. Armory never really threatened. It was just kind of a coming on late for third situation for him. But yeah, the Phillies run 1-2 there. That was exciting. That was a really, really good race from Love. First off of a layoff, and for both those Phillies facing the boys didn't matter. That was great.
Yeah. So it looks like that will be official. Again, Love goes gate to wire, so we don't expect anything there. It looked pretty clean throughout. Aaron can give us some prices and things like that. There is some breaking news, though. Breaking. Saratoga will be open at 100% capacity this summer, and Belmont walk-up sales to resume June 24th, which is next Thursday. So if you're around the area and you don't want to buy a seat, which I don't blame you, walk-up sales are available. I'm sure the tickets aren't that much anyway if you wanted to. I don't even know if they check the tickets, to be honest. But that is big news for Saratoga. We are officially a month away to the spa. I'll give you guys probably day-by-day updates because that's how much I care. Let's get back to this list. There are a few different topics that I want to I have a question for Aaron with each topic here, and then I'm going to show some of the blood horse stuff. We'll dive into a few stakes races that we're excited for over the summer at Saratoga as well. If you guys want to chime in with your questions, comments, thoughts, concerns, please let us. Aaron, I'll start with the question here. Older males, let's throw domestic spending out of it. Which one are you on this list, or maybe someone off the list? Which one are you most excited to see this summer, other than domestic spending?
Boy, what a good question. Most excited to see. Honestly, I think Maxfield. I really want to see Maxfield run June 26th in the Stephen Foster. Let's see if he can. He should dominate. I don't think there's going to be much there at Churchill. And then let's see if he can, take his show on the road, maybe up to Saratoga in the Whitney and do it. Because if you take out the one race at Santa Anita where he just didn't run horrible, but for him it wasn't great. You take that race out, boy, he's looked like a monster in all of his other starts. So I'm really curious to see what he does. He has me the most excited.
Yeah, I'll take another stance. I'm going to say Silver State, just because he's been on an absolute tear. I'm with you on Maxfield. Like the talent, I think Maxfield's probably more talented than Silver State, but it's kind of like Silver State at this point, Aaron. He's horse of the year, to this point. Now, that's not saying a lot. It's June 16th, and domestic spending only has 2 races under his belt and things like that. He is horse of the year, and we always know at this point, and we always know dirt will be favored to turf horses. So if it is that close, if they stay undefeated going into the Breeders' Cup, everyone will vote Silver State, unless Silver State doesn't run or domestic spending doesn't run. We assume they're going to be healthy, run well. I would say see them hopefully twice more before the Breeders' Cup. I'm really hoping. I don't know if that's going to be the case. Silver State will probably see twice. So that's my horse there. Let's scroll down to the older females. My question for you here. If Monomoy Girl were to return, I'm not going to give you at her best level. If she were to return against, let's say, throw out Kamari because she's a true sprinter, so we'll throw that out for the question. First, Latruska, Swiss Skydiver, She Dares the Devil, and Valiance versus 2 of these 4. What price is too short? What price is too high on her? 2 of the 4, and you could pick any 2 of the 4. And don't use Kamari because she's a sprinter; doesn't really count.
She's got to be above even money now, right? I mean, coming off a layoff, did get beat. Had 2 races this year. Both were good. Both weren't like over the top great. They were just really, solid races is what I would describe them as. I need above even money on her now. I think 7 to 5, 8 to 5 before you could really play her, because these other ones are going to be informed. These other ones, well, I mean, Swiss Skydiver kind of had some setbacks, but I think, they're getting her back going. So yeah, I'm going to need a better price than what I would have taken at this time last year. Let's put it that way.
It's another good question. I'm trying to come up with some good questions that make you think. And I'm with you. 8 to 5 for me. Anything lower is a pass. Okay. We're at the 3-year-old males. Essential Quality, Hot Rod Charlie, Mandaloon Rombauer, Midnight Bourbon, and Known Agenda. Out of these horses, which one, if you were to own all of them, we're going to play devil's advocate. We're going to let you be the owner of all of them. Congratulations. You're a multimillionaire. Which one would you want in the Jim Dandy? Which one are you saying, I think he's going to be the favorite? I think this is the right spot for him. Whether it's pedigree, whether it's I have another horse, which one are you saying I'm going to point to the Jim Dandy, which if you guys don't know, the Jim Dandy is like right under the Travers. And so it's like the Pat Day Mile type of thing. It's good. 3-year-old horse is not the best. So which one would you point to the Jim Dandy? Oh,
Essential Quality would be my easy pick for that. I think they've said all along they're going Travers or going to the Travers. That's the main goal. And then, if he's doing well, the Jim Dandy, is a great prep for the Travers. And if you look at the history of the Travers, if you want to win the Travers, you want to prep at the Jim Dandy, not at the Haskell. The Haskell Travers double, for whatever reason, very, very tough to do. Point given, the last horse to do that. And there's only been, I think, 2 or 3 throughout history. Now, not every horse tries it, but there's only been like 2 or 3 throughout history that have won both. That is very hard to do. American Pharaoh did not do it. So if your main goal is the Travers, you want to prep at the Jim Dandy. And I think that's what Essential Quality, that's what he needs to do. Now, I will say this. If something happens between now and then where he's not quite ready to go, he kind of, it takes him a little longer to bounce back from the Belmont, then I would go Midnight Bourbon. I think that's a really good race for him, because then the race kind of opens up and it becomes a race that's winnable. And I think Midnight Bourbon at that distance, at the track, Saratoga, where speed, you kind of want that early speed. I think that really would set up well for him. So Essential Quality, if he's healthy and ready to go, Midnight Bourbon if Essential Quality needs a little more time off.
I'm completely with you. I don't think anyone that's not on this list is a true Travers candidate. That's just me. Unless there's some maiden horse out there that is supposed to be the second coming of Secretariat. I haven't seen him yet. I don't think Aaron's seen him yet. This isn't really the time to be breaking the best maidens of all time either. It's usually done by now, or they're going to wait. But maybe there's some horse, again, that's literally American Pharaoh that's just sitting in the barn laughing at us. Who knows? All right, 3-year-old females. This is a much better question. Right now, I'm going to give you odds. All 6 of these fillies are entering the gate. They are in whatever race you want to pick. Coaching Club American Oaks. Sure, we'll throw that one out there. Malathot is 4 to 5. Search Results is 8 to 5. Will Secret is 5 to 1. Mind you, if Mike Somich, if you're listening or you're going to listen, sorry if these odds are wrong. I don't know. I'm just taking a guess. Will Secret, 5 to 1. Obligatory and Clairiere are 8 to 1. Just taking a guess. Always Karina, 5 to 1. Which one are you taking? And again, they might not be mathematically correct. No one point that out. I'm just throwing it out. I'm not good with that stuff. All those odds, I could repeat them again if you want. But all those odds, which one are you taking a shot with off the top of your head?
I'm going to play Malathot on top of Always Karina and Chad Brown, or Always Karina and Search Results, the 2 Chad Brown horses, and then I would flip it. So basically, meaning I would key Malathot in the first spot and in the second spot with Always Karina and Search Results. I think that's the way to play it. 4 to 5, too short to bet a win on Malathot, and a lot of confidence in the 2 Chad Brown runners. I think the key with Always Karina, we might see that horse in the Mother Goose at Belmont before Saratoga. So that would change things dramatically. But I think we both think she has a lot of ability. And then Search Results is just kind of that horse. She's got a good shot to upset Malathot at some point, I think. And if it's going to happen at Saratoga, it's definitely going to be in the Coaching Club. Still think Malathot's a bit better, but I do like those brown horses keyed there with Malathot.
Well, right now, according to Horse Racing Nation, Always Karina is the only horse that is logged on for that race, which would be in 10 days. Now, obviously, that will be updated, but that's to Aaron's point. I, being the standout that I am, not standout, the stepping out on a limb, I should say. I don't know what the word is. Risk taker. I am going to play Always Karina on top of Malathot and search results. So I'll switch it up a little bit. The only reason I like the way you're playing it, the only problem is if you played it for, I guess you could play it for like $1. I don't think you could play 50 cents. If you play for $1, that Malathot search results exact is going to be real short, like real short. I would probably just play Malathot and Always Karina. That's just the way I would play it, just because I wouldn't get rich. But again, there's a strong chance that who rode Always Karina first out. Aaron can look that up. I don't remember. I should know, since I'm arguably, I would say I'm probably her biggest fan in the country. I should know that. I don't. Aaron will get an answer for us.
First out, Jose Ortiz.
My guy. That's the guy I've been on the record saying I think he's the best in the game. So I'm happy.
Both races, Jose Ortiz has been aboard.
Well, that's a thumbs up for me. I wouldn't want anyone else. We'll get to one final here, and then we're going to do one other segment. Aaron and I are going to – I'll give Aaron a little prep here as well. I will ask him this question, but the next segment, the final segment, is going to be what stakes race at Saratoga are we looking forward to most? And we are not allowed to say the Travers. Mm-hmm. That's off the table. So I'll keep that in mind. You could do your research while I ask you this question. The question, does Drain the Clock, who's your sleeper, and I feel like that's a fair spot, where does he really rank? Now, I don't know how you did these rankings based on what you're seeing or what you just saw. Obviously, what he ran in the Woody Stevens elevates him to that sleeper spot. He wasn't in the sleeper spot beforehand. I'm sure like Jackie's was there or something like that. On everyone's best day, everyone runs their A-plus race. Is Drain the Clock good enough to compete with Firenze Fire, CZ Rocket, or is he just not good enough?
I think he is. You think about CZ Rocket, he's had a lot of tough races. You know, he may start to decline just a bit. He's also getting a little older. You think of Whitmore, that's a horse that's had trouble winning races. You think of Flagstaff, that's a horse that has had trouble until, recently won a couple, did finish second last time out. Firenze Fire, kind of a Belmont horse. When you look at the past performances, maybe now he can step up and win at Saratoga, but you can't 100% trust him. Mischievous Alex, I think going 6 or 7, he might be a little bit better than Drain the Clock. But, think about those two. I don't see them facing each other until the Breeders' Cup, right? Because they're the same trainer. So, I think Drain the Clock, once he gets to the Breeders' Cup, because I think he'll stick with 3-year-olds, but once he gets there, I think he'll be ready to take on these challengers of the older horses. I don't have any trouble betting him as long as he continues to show improvement, continues to show that type of race that we saw from him at Belmont. I don't have any trouble, playing him when he faces older horses.
Yeah, I'm completely with you. On their best day, I think Drain the Clock could beat CZ Rocket. Now, it's going to be – what the great thing about Drain the Clock is? And before we'll end this in a minute or so, and then we'll get to our final segment. You're going to get a good price on him, because if he were to face the older horses, that's like, this is exactly why, Aaron, I used him in the Woody Stevens. And I'm not patting myself on the back. But if you look at those horses that have like Mischievous Alex, not Mischievous Alex, who was the Dr. Was it Dr. Post? Who ran against Drain? Oh, Jackie's Warrior, excuse me. Mm-hmm. Jackie's Warrior, sorry about that. If you think CZ Rocket is the standout, and I agree, I might not take a horse that, to your point about Firenze Fire, I don't know, it might be a Belmont horse. I don't know. Mischievous Alex, we'll give him a pass on the Met Mile. I mean, I don't know what they're doing with him there. Flagstaff, I just don't think he's as good. So it's like one of those, like, the unknowns provide value. I always, that's the best way to say it. Unknowns provide value. During the clock is going to be an unknown compared to these horses because he hasn't run against them, or even Jackie's Warrior. If Jackie's Warrior were to show up, I think you can get 8-1 or 10-1. That's good price. I don't need Mischievous Alex or Flagstaff at 3-1 when I'm going to get CC Rocket at what, 6-5, 4-5, even money. Like, not worth it for me. All right, Aaron, the time has come. Saratoga time. I'm going to show just the stakes schedule here so everyone could see it. A few news and notes before I throw it to Aaron. This is the only meet, I believe, in the country that there's a stakes race every racing day. Now, yep. I'm not sure if Del Mar is in that mix or not. They might have 1 or 2 days. Yeah, Aaron's shaking his head. Nope. I know for a fact, Saratoga is.
Kentucky Downs would be the only other one that has a stakes, but it's only 5 days. So.
Yeah, I don't count that. That's like in the Royal Ascot. Oh, and by the way, Royal Ascot, Kentucky Downs, that is the brother and sister. That is like the same thing. Turf racing, 5-day festival. To Aaron's point, good luck trying to put multi-race tickets together. You need like $30,000 bankroll. Aaron, like, just look at this. The honorable miss for fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and up, grade 2. It's on a Wednesday. Yeah. I mean, this is unbelievable. Most other tracks, it's, I don't know, like the feature on a Saturday. Saratoga's like, yeah, we'll throw you on a Saturday. Honorable miss, you don't mean much. Aaron, I'll throw it to you now. The race you're excited for most, other than the Travers. Now, it could be from a history perspective. It could be like the first time you saw a horse run and it was in the stakes race. It could be any reason. Which one are you most looking forward to?
I guess I'll cop out and say the Whitney. It's just such a classic race. So many memories of the Whitney. It has to be that for me. Breeders' Cup winning your end for the Classic. So many really good memories. So many good horses have won that race. I got to go Whitney. I each and every year, I think it's the second biggest day of racing at Saratoga. I got to go with that.
I'm completely with you. Last year, Improbable, who no one really thought he was going to win. I'm not going to click on the replay, A, because I'm not even sure if I can, like legally. But B, it was just in a talented field. I'm going to pull it up here. Aaron and I are going to be there on Whitney Day. Shout out to Aaron for letting me stay with him on Whitney Day. But it is just a fantastic race. I'm completely with you. It is the best day outside of Travers Day. I'm not going to kill Aaron too much for the cop-out. But Improbable went on to have a great year that year. He finished second in the Oakland Mile, then the Hollywood Gold Cup. He won Whitney, won the Awesome again, another grade 1, and then finished second in the Breeders' Cup Classic. That race included Improbable by my standards, Tom Stata, who was the favorite, Code of Honor, and Mr. Buff. Not really sure why Mr. Buff, the New York bred, was in the Whitney. Not going to blame anyone for that. I'm not the owner. Aaron, I have to go with the race listed right after it. You know I'm a turf guy through and through.
Yeah.
If it was up to me, Saratoga would be a pure turf meet outside of the Travers and the Whitney. Look at the horse that won it last year. Mind you, there was no one there. Domestic spending. Now, we have some good turf horses this year. I'm going to pull up Horse Racing Nation while I talk through this. If you ask Chad Brown, he probably wouldn't give you a fair answer in terms of bricks and mortar and domestic spending. He'd probably say, oh, you'd love to be a trainer with the two of them, yada, yada, yada. Trainer talk. I call it trainer talk. But what I will say, if I had to pick, I'm probably picking the guy that we're looking at. Now, granted, there's a YouTube sign, so it is him. It's a video. I'm not going to click on it. I'm probably picking him. And I can't wait to see who we have coming up in the Saratoga Derby. I'm trying to pull it up here. Hopefully there are some entries on here. Maybe not. But nonetheless, we do have the Belmont Derby. That's Dujour, which was the Bob Baffer horse. Dujour no longer trained by Bob Baffer. Hard Love for Jonathan Thomas. Keep Me in Mind. Keep me in mind if that horse just runs anywhere. Who's a possible, not a probable. Sainthood as well for Todd Pletcher. But yeah, this is my race, all on Whitney Day. Again, shout out to Aaron for letting me stay with him, because if it weren't for him, I'd probably be watching on my couch.
I'm really confused. Who are you picking to win the Saratoga Derby?
No, I'm not picking anyone. No, that's just a race I'm interested in watching.
Okay.
I'm not. No. Those are the 4 horses that I read off Horse Racing Nation.
No, I thought you said, okay, I'm picking him, and I didn't know.
Oh, sorry. I'm picking him over. Yes, I'm picking Domestic Spending over Bricks and Mortar. I was saying, if you were asking like the Chad Brown comparison, because when it's, for example, do you want Nathan McKinnon? I'll throw it to hockey. Do you want Nathan McKinnon or do you want Connor McDavid? Well, as a coach, I'd love to have them both.
Yeah.
Obviously, you'd love to have them both. Which one do you want? I would pick Domestic Spending. So yes, to your point, I would pick Domestic Spending over Bricks and Mortar. That's not to say Bricks and Mortar probably won't have a race named after him at some point. Domestic Spending probably will also at some point. But it's great. I think these 3-year-old races, especially on the turf, I find them to mature a lot better over the course of time. Maybe it's because of the surface. It's a lot less wear and tear, obviously, running on grass and dirt. So we could see potentially Sainthood just be a fantastic turf monster. I doubt it, but who knows? That would be fantastic. I think they are bringing back the Triple Crown on the turf. It's like called the Turf Triple Crown in New York, the Belmont Derby, the Saratoga Derby, and then one at Belmont. I forgot the name. That's going to be probably in October, I would assume. So that's my race. That's going to do it for us. Aaron's wearing the best shirt I've seen. Size doesn't matter. Nick Feldman says, I'll be interested in Floriform. Floriform, Annex will probably run into Aaron. Is there anything anyone else off the top of your head that could be pointing? Again, the Belmont Derby is first. The Belmont Derby is like a couple weeks.
Belmont Derby will be July 10th. Floriform, I definitely think will point there and will be very interesting. Here's what sucks. The Pennine Ridge and the Penn Mile, which are basically serve as preps for that race, both got rained off the turf and contested over the dirt. So Sainthood won the Pennine Ridge, but it was a dirt race, so we didn't really learn anything. So that kind of's got that field in a flux. We don't really know who's going to be there yet. But I think Floriform, Nick, I think that's a really interesting horse. You said Ricky Annex, he struggled on the dirt. But again, you just kind of draw a line through it. He will rebound. DeJour looked awfully, awfully good at Churchill. But what will he do with Bill Mott? How much does that play a factor? And that's not a knock on Bill Mott, but was something weird going on with DeJour under Baffert? Do we know? I think that's kind of the big key there. I think the race is kind of ripe for an upset, and I think we just got to find that horse. And because of that muddled form, it might be somebody we really didn't expect to be a bigger price that ends up going off at a big price there. So that's going to be a good day of racing. You get the Belmont Oaks that day as well for the fillies.
A few other horses. There is I forgot to mention this. The Grade 3 Poker is this weekend. I think on Saturday. It's the 20th, whatever it is. There are going to be horses that come out of there that are going to run as well. It's going to be a short turnaround. Excuse me. A few horses. Sorry, that's for 4-year-olds and upward.
I was going to say that's not going to happen. But
the American
Poker has been in the past kind of a prep a little bit for the 4-star Dave. You'll see some lower ones run in the Poker, which is a mile, and then they'll go up to the 4-star Dave at Saratoga. That's also a mile.
Yeah, I'm sorry. The American Stakes was this weekend. Sorry. The Poker is at Belmont. The American Stakes, that's at Santa Anita. I don't know if any of those horses are good enough to come out of there and potentially run. They'll probably stay on the West Coast. More than likely, it's a G3. And Win From Within was a horse that was led in the stretch as well. Maybe I think there are going to be a lot of horses that we see. But just think of last year's 3-year-old group. I mean, really, really talented. It's going to be a fun race nonetheless. The Saratoga Derby, it's one of my favorite. Aaron obviously has the Whitney that he's looking forward to, but they're all going to be fun. They're all going to be fun. Del Mar is a great stakes schedule as well, but that's going to do it for us today. We'll be back at Belmont Park tomorrow. It's kind of sorry for the mishmash of stuff going on today. Again, it's tough when there's no Gulfstream or anything running. We could do Indiana Grand, but we rather just do this, kind of play it by ear. But that's going to do it for us. Another quick note, Ricky's Rockets will officially be on the website tomorrow. So congratulations to everyone who's able to put this together. We're going to make my life easier, hopefully make everyone's life a little bit easier, hopefully easier for you guys as well. Aaron, any notes or anything you want to add to that?
Yeah. So yeah, Ricky's Rockets going to be on the website. So the big change for you if you buy Ricky's Rockets, you're going to go to the handicapping products page to buy them now. We'll also have a link on the article to the product page as well. But yeah, you can go to the article and click on that link, or you can go directly to the handicapping products page, and then they will be in your dashboard. So no more having to wait for an email and then wait for an update. They'll be in the dashboard, and then when Ricky makes the update, you just hit that refresh button, and you've got the clean and new sheet sitting there waiting and ready for you. So it's a great change, for everybody. It's easier to access them for the customer. It's easy for Ricky to update them and get that out there, that latest information out there for you. And it ends that, oh gosh, I didn't get the email in time type of stuff. So yeah, it's going to be good. I can't wait to get that going. Hopefully it all works smoothly. But yeah, if you buy Ricky's Rockets dashboard, they will be in your dashboard now. Yeah.
So if you weren't I don't want to say dashboard member, that might be wrong. But if you were using the website, if you weren't using it before, you will now. If you already have, it's probably going to be very, very easy for you to do. But that's going to do it for us again. The regular article, by the way, will stay the same. It just won't have links at the bottom as like a third-party group. It's just going to go straight to there. So it should be much easier. I'm sure if you're not a customer, it'll ask you to make a quick login with a couple questions, whatever, email, whatever it is. It'll be quick. It'll be quick.
I think 95% of your people probably have a login anyway. But if you guys struggle with that, you know who to let us know. It's real easy. If you don't have a login to the website, you just create an account when you make that first purchase. Shouldn't be a problem. So yeah, like I said, streamlining the Rockets, no more messing with the PDFs and emails. You'll have it right there on your dashboard. Be really easy. Hey, also real quick, a couple of added things to the dashboard. We now have a wagering calculator at the bottom of your dashboard. So if you're there and you're trying to figure out how much a wager will cost, you can just scroll down and use that. And my favorite thing, this is great. Current weather conditions, a 6-hour projected weather forecast, and the forecast for the next day, now located underneath each track logo on your dashboard. So you don't have to pull out the weather app. It's right there for you. It's great. That's my favorite thing. I love how it looks. So you guys, yeah, check that out for sure. And like I said, right now, if I want to bet Royal Ascot, it's like 0% chance of rain. It's 81 degrees. Perfect. I don't have to worry about anything, any changes, anything like that.
Yeah, no, it's going to be awesome. I'm sure Gulfstream over the summer, it'll say rain every day. I'll save you 5 seconds of looking. But that's going to do it for us. I got to go. That's going to do it for us again. Well, Belmont tomorrow, I think races 6 through 9. Tune in, catch all the details and information, all that type of stuff, racingdudes.com. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, anything like that, contact at racingdudes.com or reach out to one of us on Twitter or send us an email, whatever you want to do, whatever's easier for you. That's going to do it for us today. Everyone stay safe, stay healthy. Good luck if you're playing Ascot or wherever you're playing today. We will see you bright and early tomorrow, same time, 11 a.m., covering Belmont Park. Take care, everyone.